as in like wrong.
Right.
The old school version of the definition.
Right.
We're being proper today.
Look at you.
Yeah. So what happens when a whole generation never grows up? This was the title for the Wall Street Journal article as well. As American 30-somethings increasingly bypass the traditional milestones of adulthood, economists are warning that what seemed like a lag may in fact be a permanent state of arrested development. I found that to be a sensational and almost insulting topic.
Okay.
Because it refers to, I think, these milestones as something that people are choosing to live. But as you get in the article, it's actually, they are a natural byproduct of the system. And these milestones are not reasonably attainable anymore.
Yes.
So,
what's the first milestone that they touch on?
it's not that, I don't want to say this is a milestone that everybody should aim towards. This is why I paused, right? But we are seeing alarming trends with 3 clear milestones. Number 1, marriage trends. People are getting married later, and we'll get into that.
Mm-hmm.
Childbearing trends, okay? And number 3, living at home. And it's really easy to look at all 3 of those and go, oh, well, TikTok fucked us up. Seriously. I mean, I know it sounds like,
Yeah.
it's easy to say that.
I mean, I know we've talked about it before on the show, and I know we'll dive into it more as we get into this article. But we've said, I know plenty of people personally that have chosen not to start a family until they buy their first home. They've opted to wait to start their family until they can afford to buy a home.
That's exactly correct. And that's where it's easy to look at social media. It's easy to look at the world and say, oh, this next generation, they're just different. It's harder to look at the underlying data and say, oh, this generation has it different, so they're acting different.
Mm-hmm.
It's a chicken egg argument. I don't think there's one answer. I think it's a Molotov cocktail of all of the things.
Yes.
But let's get into some of these stats and keep in mind as we go through this, how much of this is really caused by social media versus how much of this is caused by the economy, the overall financial position of the world, much less the United States, and how much of it is expressive one way or the other.
Okay.
Right? Because one of them is impacting the other one or both ways.
Okay.
So for the marriage trends, 1/3 of today's young adults will never marry. 33%. Projects conservative think tank, the Institute for Family Studies, compared to less than 1/5 of those born in previous decades.
Okay.
So you're seeing a huge increase in the number of people that will ultimately not get married. Now, some of this is speculative data.
That's where I was going to go. How do you know that?
It's a think tank, so a bunch of smart people get together and they think in a tank. But no,
we weren't invited to that tank.
No, we weren't. Yeah, because our answer would be like, just have them all have sex. They'll get married eventually. They'll figure it out.
They'll figure out which one's the right one.
Yeah. Which is not actually in the show notes, but something that I also read this weekend. There is an increasing symmetry between the amount of binge drinking that teenagers to young 20-year-olds are doing and those in the age demographic of 30s to mid-40s.
Oh, wow.
And at first you go, oh, so kids are just drinking less. It's actually not just that. It's kids, by that definition, are drinking less, and adults are drinking more, by that definition.
Wow.
So you're getting kind of a shift where the stress is starting to weigh on that 30 to 40-year-old crowd, 30 to 50 actually. And then the wanting to be health. Have you heard about this? It's called max looking or max. They call it maxing. This is a new slang term for you.
Maxing?
Maxing.
Okay. I like this whole. We got to take a little sidetrack.
Yeah, no. This is a whole thing. There's been lots of articles about this, and it's spelled MAXXING, right?
Mm-hmm.
It originated on, I think, Reddit or 4chan or something like that. But basically,
term that refers to the process of maximizing one's physical attractiveness.
That's right. And our generation, and I'm including you and me in the same generation, so don't be an asshole here, okay?
You are an 80s baby.
Yeah, our generation there's a lot of memes going around, right?
Oh my God.
What?
They got it broken down into tiers.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead,
soft maxing,
yeah,
which is having proper hygiene, skincare, exercise, hairstyles, and fashionable clothing.
That's not me.
That's us right there. Come on.
No, I'm not soft, baby.
Proper hygiene.
I'm hard maxing.
Come on. You are. The next one's hard maxing.
Yeah.
More extreme and permanent methods, such as cosmetic procedures like jaw surgery.
Yeah, no.
You're not doing that.
No,
yeah.
Not yet. You never know.
And then this one I've heard, the kids are doing this. My son does this around the house all the time. So it's called mewing.
Oh yeah, the face. It's duck face grown up.
And they all do this.
Yeah.
It's another one of those celebrations that we're talking about. They'll
Yeah.
score and they'll go and they start doing this. It's
Yeah.
like, what? I don't even why.
It's duck face's next evolution.
Right.
When girls are doing duck face in photos, now they're mewing, and dudes do this too.
But this is actually, so that's just like a something that they do, the kids do as like I don't even know when.
No, they do it in photos, dude.
Well, here, no, this what this definition is saying is it's a tongue posture practice that claims to improve jaw structure. Tell me about what type of tongue practice you doing over there?
Yeah,
but
I'm a cunning linguist.
But it's not scientifically supported.
No, it's not, because you look like a jackass. But it's fine.
You've seen that thing where like you
The
chew
jaw thing?
the jaw, yeah,
Where you just chew it,
yeah,
and it makes your jawline like stronger.
right. Come
Yeah.
on, guys,
I mean,
just work out.
I never bought that.
Yeah,
I swear. Anyway, so maxing and max looking, whatever you want to call it, it's a real thing, and there's social media pages dedicated to teaching everybody how to max, and like it's a whole thing.
yeah, but I feel like that's kids are focusing on the wrong things, right?
Well, I mean, look,
It's one thing to be healthy, but I don't want one of my favorite works of Banksy.
Oh,
Okay. Was a piece of art that he put on a wall, right? And it was actually a picture of a little girl, the backside of a little girl looking at a painting on a wall of a like a supermodel like laying there on the beach or something.
Yeah.
And it said on there in bold print, "You don't have to look like this."
And I get that, and I fully understand and appreciate where that's coming from. But there's nothing wrong with wanting to maximize your self-preservation, your longevity.
Oh no,
not necessarily from a vanity purpose, but from a health purpose. You know what I mean?
From a health purpose, but this is not insinuating hard maxing is not. I don't know.
I'm not saying you should hard max.
Yeah. Soft max though.
Yeah, soft max. Yeah, knock yourself out. Anyway, the point of this is that, look, our generations are typically looking better than our parents did at the same age, and I think the aspiration of the younger generation is to do the same and to look better than the previous generation did than they did.
Okay.
But for some reason, the 20 to early 30-year-old demographic at this particular juncture tends to look a little older than the 40-year-olds in some cases. Right? It's a weird vibe. And it's been all over social media. So there's a lot changing in the landscape of what we think and how we look. But looks are certainly part of it. Staying younger forever. I mean, I think it all started with Jay-Z saying 30 is the new 20.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And now we have childbearing trends that indicate that these things are lasting longer. The problem here with the difference between marriage trends and aesthetic trends and maxing versus childbearing trends, you have a biological clock, which is in fact ticking. A man and a woman. Now, for a woman, it's probably a little more definitive.
Right.
But the share of childless adults under the age of 50 who say they are unlikely to ever have a kid rose 10 percentage points between 2018 and 2023, from 37% to 47%, according to the Pew Research Center.
I can actually attest to this. So I remember vividly over a decade ago having conversations with people outside of work, at work, who it was rare to hear somebody, but you would hear it occasionally. They would say, "I'm okay with not having kids." And I remember for me, I did not grow up in that kind of environment, right? Culturally speaking, it's kind of, what you aim for, right? For me, that's how it was for me growing up. So to hear that, it was kind of shocking and alarming to me. I couldn't comprehend or process it. Why, right? And then you as you grow older, you figure out, people have, different expectations or different things they want in life, right? Which is totally fine. And then a decade later, I'm just hearing this conversation more and more. It's like almost becoming more acceptable for people to come out and say it.
Yeah, because there is, number one, there's a financial burden there that I think a lot of people feel like they can't pay for themselves. So how am I going to pay for this other life, this other person that I'm raising this life with,
Yeah.
And it winds up becoming this snowball effect of fear. Because, look, let's be honest. We're not in a generation where people would literally have like 9 kids in a 3-bedroom home. They'd all be stacked up, and that was just life, right?
Right.
My mom was one of 9. My grandparents on my grandfather's side, he was one of 11.
Right.
So, but you couldn't do that by today's financial standards.
You can't. Well, we talked about it on the show too, that every household now, or a majority of households now, have dual incomes, if not 3 incomes.
Yeah.
Somebody in the household's working 2 jobs, right? That's for the majority of people. So You can no longer to have a traditional family. Whatever. I think that's